I'm going to show you how to sew on your practice reinforcement line. After you draw the box and the X, you're going to be putting this in your sewing machine and you're going to follow the arrows for the order of where to sew. Okay, so I'm going to start right where this arrow is that says start stitching at this point. And it says by back stitching, so I'm going to back stitch too. Notice it's below the bottom of the X. Okay, I'm going to be starting down here. When I end, I'm going to be completing it down below the X as well. So I'm going to start right on this point. So I'm going to put my paper into the machine and I'm going to lower my needle so it's going to start right on the stitching line, the dotted line, right where the arrow is. Okay, I'm going to start sewing. I'm going to hold the reverse down so I can backstitch. And then I'm going to go all the way up. Number 1 says to go all the way up to the corner, and number 2 goes across the top. So I'm going to sew all the way up. And when I get to the top, I'm going to stop with my needle down so I can turn the corner, lift up my presser foot, and I'm going to spin my paper, put it back down so I can do step 2. 2 goes across the stitching line here. When I get to the corner, number 3 says to go diagonally down the line I drew. So I'm going to turn my paper so I can go down 3. Okay. 4 says to go across the bottom on the line I drew. Don't sew on the arrow, sew on the line that you drew. Okay, step 5 says to go back up in the diagonal, so I'll go up the other side of my X. Okay, step 6 says to go back across the top. You will have 2 lines right on top of each other that go across the top, because step 2 was also across there. Okay, and then the final one, step 7, I'm going to be coming down the side and then ending at the arrow. Okay, and when I end, I have to backstitch. Okay, and then when I take out my paper, I'm going to cut off all of my thread tails on the front and the back. And I should only see stitching lines on the purple lines I drew and on the dotted lines on the paper. I should not see any on the solid arrows that have the numbers. Okay. Once you're finished with this, check with your teacher before you do this on your bag.